Virtual Summit 2026, Lynn.
Thank you. I am so glad to be here. Honored to share with the ladies and the world about unlocking leadership potential in women, the Elevate Way, of course, my Elevate framework from the Dowdo experience.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Yeah, before going to a session, I would like to introduce you to our audience.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, Lynn Doddle is an award winning global speaker, leadership, and community impact strategist, and founder of the Dowdle Experience, and recognized for empowering leaders to create meaningful and lasting impact. As the creator of the Elevate framework, she helps women lead with confidence, purpose, and authentic influence while strengthening leadership, organizational culture, and human connection. So, her global speaking, mentoring, and leadership initiatives lean inspires individuals and organizations to elevate every interaction and lead with intention. That was a fantastic and wonderful bio, Lynn, and the stage is all yours.
Oh, thank you. Good day, everyone. Yes, good day. And welcome to Unlocking Leadership Potential in Women, the Elevate Way. It's a luxury legacy alignment, a new lens on leadership is what I like to call it. So, I want to start off with something simple but honest. My leadership journey did not begin in a boardroom. No, not like most. It began in community spaces, in conversations that did not come with titles, but came with responsibility. I have navigated spaces that don't typically intersect law enforcement, community engagement, luxury experiences, and entrepreneurship. And what I've learned across all of these is this: leadership is not about what you do or where you sit, it's about how you show up. Because I've seen people with no titles who could not lead for a moment. And I've seen women with titles. I said that backwards. I've seen women with no titles who could not lead for a moment, but women with no titles lead with presence. So today, I'm not here to give you another leadership playbook, if you will. What I'm here to do today is to challenge you on how you see leadership altogether. My intention is to introduce you to a different lens, one that is rooted in luxury, legacy, and lived experience. Because what? We're all living, right? Leadership is not loud, it's not performative. Leadership is felt, it's something that you feel in the inside. I am Lynn Dowdell, the founder of the Dowdell Experience and Vin Collective. Through the Dowdell Experience, I design luxury and community impact activations that merge culture, connection, and strategy. Now, through the Vin Collective, I curate elevated wine and lifestyle experiences that deepen relationships, drive meaningful engagement. What I'm there to do, what I'm here to do, is to engage, enhance, and edutain. And throughout all of my work, I believe this: leadership potential is not something women need more permission to have. No, it's not. It is something we need to be willing to claim. Tell me, are you willing to claim your leadership. I'm excited to be here among individuals who are not only leaders, but legacy builders, community shapers, and change agents. We're here to do something different. Part one, redefining leadership. Let us tell the truth. Most of what we have been taught about leadership is basically outdated, right? We've been conditioned to believe that leadership is about hierarchy, authority, and visibility. Yes, visibility is credibility, but most powerful leaders I know do not just lead from the front, they lead from within. Leadership potential is not something you unlock like a door, it is something you reveal through alignment. And alignment is how you think, it is how you move. Alignment is the environments that you find yourself in or that you choose to remain in, or those environments that you actually choose to walk away from. This is where the Elevate framework comes in. This is not a theory for me. It is how I have built, led, and sustained impact. E, empowerment. Through self awareness, you don't know who you are, who you will keep shrinking to fit into spaces that you've already outgrown. L, luxury. Luxury of integrity and excellence is not about price point, it's about standard. And your standard becomes your leadership, it becomes your leadership signature. Engagement. With purpose, not everything deserves your energy. How many of us can relate to that? Intentional leaders do not just engage, they discern where their presence creates value. Value through visibility. You cannot impact what you refuse to be seen in. Visibility is not ego, it's responsibility. And visibility is the current currency. Authentic brand presence. Whether you have built a brand or not, you are one. The question is your presence aligned or diluted? Trust. Trust in building relationships. Trust is the real currency of leadership. It is not built through consistency, not convenience. And to be honest, we all know that in order to get someone to trust you, you're working pretty hard. E, equity. Through consistent conversation and how you show up repeatedly, it's what builds your legacy. Leadership does not start with the spotlight, it starts in the places people work and some people overlook, in communities, in culture, and in consistency. And here's the truth, I want every woman in this room and out there to know it is not the lack of skill, it is lack of permission. Yes, lack of permission. What have you been waiting to give yourself permission to do? To apply for a position, to ask for that promotion that you thoroughly deserve, to start a business, to use your voice. How about saying no to guilt? To lead without feeling like you have to prove yourself first. So often we think we are waiting for more knowledge, more confidence, more experience. But many of us are really waiting for permission no one else can give. The Elevate Way begins when you realize leadership is not something bestowed upon you. It is something you choose to step into. Invisible barriers. That's something we all need to talk about, right? As we move deeper into this conversation, let us talk about the invisible barriers no one really names. How many of us know about that? And again, this issue is often not about capability. We know that we're talking about permission. These barriers are not just listed in job descriptions or leadership books. They shape how women show up every single day. Serving quietly, as we all do most times in our life, carrying emotional labor, that's how we know. Being labeled too much, too ambitious, too confident. How about too passionate? Can any of you relate? Or too emotional? What does that really mean? Too outspoken? How about too visible? Remember, that is our current currency. But what if too much is not the problem? What if it's misunderstood alignment? Yes. Yes, now we're tracking. Because when your values, your voice, your vision, and your purpose begin to align, your presence naturally becomes noticeable. And that's what some people may call too much. And people who are comfortable with the smaller version of you may interpret this growth as too much. But you have to remember that leadership is not about sinking, it's not about shrinking, it's not about making others comfortable. It is about expanding with intention. Our invisible barrier, I call this the serving quietly syndrome. Many women, especially those rooted in the community, have been conditioned to serve without spotlight, to give recognition, and to lead without claiming it. How many of you have been doing the job and doing it without titles? Mhm. And while service is powerful, silence can be limiting. Another barrier is emotional barrier. Women are often expected to carry the emotional weight of teams, families, organizations, and communities while still performing at the executive level. Hmm. Exactly. And that's not leadership. That's what I call imbalance. Yes. See, I have experienced this firsthand. In law enforcement, yes, in law enforcement spaces, I've had to lead with authority in environments that were not always designed to receive it and not always designed to welcome it as well. In luxury and in branding spaces, I've had to own excellence in rooms that sometimes, well, they misinterpreted it. But what I've learned in this, duality is not a disadvantage, it's a differentiator. Yes. We're out here making difference. We're making a difference. It's the ability to do both strategic and empathetic, both structured and intuitive, both polished and deeply grounded. This is not confusion. This is capacity. The Elevate way is not about becoming louder. It's about becoming more aligned. And when you are aligned, you elevate every interaction, not because you're trying to command attention, but because your presence, your purpose, and your integrity begin speaking before you do. High touch leadership. This is probably my favorite. This is when I get into my niche. Um, it's about impact because leadership without impact, well, most of us know it's just noise, and we hear a lot of noise these days. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is this: influence is not built through control. How many of us out there are trying to control every moment? It's built through experience. High impact leaders do not just manage people, they design moments. And I want you to start designing your moments. They listen beyond what is said and they deliver beyond what is expected. And we create environments where people feel seen, valued, and most of all considered. And that is what I call high touch leadership. And yes, I've applied this directly to my work, my everyday livelihood. Through the Dowdo experience, I don't just create events, I don't just speak on stages. I create environments where people feel elevated. I want to lift you up. Yes, I do. And that same principle applies to leadership. Every interaction you have, remember that it's an experience. Every conversation is a touch point. Every room you are in, you're either shifting the energy or you're absorbing it. So the question becomes, are you experiencing your leadership or are you just encountering titles? Because the leaders people remember do not just leave mere impressions, they leave impact. And here's what high touch leadership looks like in practice: it looks like being fully present, not just visibly present. Yes. It looks like noticing what others overlook. It looks like communicating with clarity and care. It looks like holding standard without losing humanity. It looks like creating spaces where people can rise, not just comply. That is the kind of leadership that transforms culture. Mentor and multiplication. We're going to go back to mentor and multiplication. Uh, Now, let's talk about sustainability because leadership is not about what you build. We've already talked about it's not about getting permission, it's about how you continue to lead. And that is where leadership, I should say, that is where mentorship comes in. In my work with organizations, youth programs, communities, and leadership initiatives, I've seen one truth again and again. Potential expands when it's seen. How many of you are feeling seen out there? That is why I use a simple model shift, a model. M equals mirror plus model plus mobilize. Mirror, reflect back to people what they don't yet see in themselves. Model, show up and show them how and what alignments looks like in real time. What alignment looks like in real time. Mobilize, move them to action. Don't stay stagnant. And this part I want to emphasize. You do not need a formal title to mentor someone. Contrary to popular belief, some of the most impactful leadership happens in passing moments. That could be a conversation with somebody you just met or somebody just walking by. It could be a recommendation. It can be an introduction at a networking event, at a new job, a decision to include someone else in the room. We need more women willing to be mirrors because when one woman elevates and reaches back, it does not just change a person, it changes a pipeline. And that is how leadership multiplies. That is how legacy is built. Think about that. So let us bring this all together. Yes, thank you. Leadership is not something that you chase, that I chase. It's something that you cultivate. And we're going to cultivate together through alignment, through intention, through consistency. Yes. The Elevate framework is not just a concept, it is how I live my life every day. It is a lens that I want you all to be a part of. It's a way to assess where you are and how you activate and where you're going. So I will leave you with two questions. Where are you still playing small? And number two, who is waiting for you to be bigger? Yeah. Because potential is not waiting, it's watching. It is watching how you lead when no one is clapping. It is how you serve when it's not convenient. And it is how you rise when no one else fully understands your vision. So when you choose to lead from alignment instead of position or permission, remember that everything changes. Everything changes, not just you. For every room that you enter after this, um, I want to thank you for not asking for permission. Elevate your framework, elevate your follow up high touch guide, the Elevate course, and speaking and workshop engagements are what I'd like to invite you into my world. For a more in depth perspective, please use the QR code or go to the dowdoexperience.com, um, where and when you purchase your course and send me your confirmation receipt via my website, I will send you a workbook to amplify your knowledge. Let's connect. You can contact me both on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook by searching Lynn Dowdell. Wonderful. And I'd like to open it up if anyone has any questions. Let me go look over here. Oh, wonderful. That's a good question. Rhea asked, what daily habits help develop strong leadership? I believe that fomenting your whole day from beginning to end, how you wake up in the morning, how you start your day, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's quiet time. Give yourself 30 minutes to an hour of just quiet time. No intranet, no social media, just quiet time, meditation, or prayer, whatever your higher calling is. Next, check your calendar, be intentional, and be authentic. That will help you always get to the next step, even if there's a setback. When you're authentic and you're intentional, it shows up. Remember to elevate, engage, and enhance in every interaction. Are there any more questions?
Eslin, thank you for your presentation. And we have a few questions from our audience. I would like to ask one of them.
Okay, certainly.
Can leadership skills be learned or are they natural talents?
Uh, Well, some of us are obviously natural born leaders, absolutely. But I do believe that leadership can be learned. I've spent over 25 plus years in leadership, in community and in community service and impacting people in all different stages of their life and all over the world. So I definitely believe that leadership can be taught. I mean, everything that we do in our lives from the beginning is a learned behavior. So why can't we learn to be leaders?
Yeah, we have one more question from Dr. Mike. How can women balance leadership responsibility with personal life?
Mm. Well, for me personally, it's God, family, and then work. Now, once you make up your mind how you choose to formulate your path, then stick to it. Of course, you may need to make tweaks, but always carve out time, just like you do on your calendar for that next meeting or to follow a lead. Use that time also to carve out time for your family, for those who love you, for those who need you, and those who depend upon you. Absolutely. Schedule them just like you schedule everyone else, but make their time intentional and authentic.
Thanks, Lynn. Thank you for answering my questions. And please stay on the backstage and join the next session, Lynn.
Absolutely. Everybody have a wonderful day. And remember,
Bye
elevate
bye.
every interaction. Good day.